Good morning. Glad you could join us. Hello, Leslie Ann. So let's get started. Today we're talking about iPad OS 17. And the reason we're talking about it today is that the public beta of iPad OS 17.3 has become available, and I bit the bullet and put it on my iPad. So we'll talk about whether you should be putting it on your iPad a little later in GoFor Lunch for December 19, 2023, brought to you by GoFor Technology. I am Roger Harmon, your host, hopefully making your technology work for you. So today is Look for an Evergreen Day. So here we have some evergreens that someone looked at. As you can see, some evergreens are actually blue, like this spruce here. So some interesting facts I learned about evergreens is that they grow on all continents except Antarctica. They have valuable uses in medicine and everyday life. They cover 15% of the land in the world. And they can have foliage in colors other than green, such as red, brown, yellow, and of course that blue. There are thousands of species, and they can survive harsh conditions depending on the species or adapt to a warm climate. In fact, for 2 years I bought a live Christmas tree, an Aleppo pine, and planted it in my yard here in Tucson. And I don't live at that house anymore, but last I knew they were still growing and surviving the Arizona summer. So as we talk about iPad OS 17, you should know whether your iPad is eligible for that upgrade. So if you have an iPad Pro, a second generation, an iPad Air, third generation, iPad 6th generation, or an iPad mini 5th generation, you are ready to go. So in preparing for this presentation, I did go down a rabbit hole or two, which I've been known to do. So I found out one thing, that for Touch ID, if it may not work when your iPad is charging. So if you're having a problem with Touch ID while it's charging, that's a known issue. Also, I went to look for the manual for iPad OS 17 in the Apple Books app, and it wasn't there. Some of the older manuals are there, but Apple is no longer publishing a free manual in the Apple Books app. They've kind of hidden it for you. So I did find it, and it's listed down below here, so you don't have to try to write that URL down there. It is in the description, so feel free to download that into Safari and bookmark it, so you'll have a reference guide for iPad OS 17. So new iPads are expected in spring, probably sometime in March. And right now the rumors are that there'll be a next generation iPad Pro, there'll be an 11th generation iPad, and we're not sure about the iPad mini. There may be one coming down the pike. So new to the iPad, not the iPhone, is the Health app, which allows you to view all your health data and trends in one easy place, including collecting information from other Apple devices, such as your Apple Watch. And it looks like this. So as you can see a lot of information here on the iPad screen. If you were to look for this information on the iPhone, you would have to look at several different screens. So it's much more convenient to look at that health information on your iPad, and now you can. So, dealing with PDFs. So now with iPadOS 17, you have enhanced autofill, which means you can securely use your saved information from contacts to fill out a PDF or even a scanned document. Also, in dealing with PDFs, you can put a PDF in the Notes app and read and annotate it there. You can also collaborate on PDFs, so you can get real-time updates when sharing a note that contains a PDF. As you mark up a document, your collaborator will see that live and vice versa. So a lot of nice features for dealing with PDFs. Wait, there's only certain iPads that can do these PDF manipulations, and that is the iPad Pro 12.9 inch, third generation or more, iPad Pro 11 inch, first generation, iPad Air, third generation, and the iPad Mini, fifth generation. So not all the ones we named earlier can deal with PDFs in this new way. Oh yes, and there's the iPad 8th generation or later. Predictive text. So it'll allow you to finish sentences with a tap. And the autocorrect has been improved, as has speech recognition. And you can now have multiple timers to run at one time. So this is really handy if you're using your iPad in the kitchen to do a recipe. You can have multiple timers for different parts of that recipe. The Reminders app allows you to group like items together on your shopping list, so you can go down the appropriate aisle and get everything that's in that aisle. So that's a real nice feature. You can also download maps and use them offline, and we'll show you that here in just a minute. And the S Lady can be activated by just saying her name without having to say, hey, in front of it. So I'm not using the word because I have several devices that would be activated if I did it. And Safari now has the ability to have profiles. So you can have profiles for like work, for home, for maybe a project or a hobby, for maybe a group that you're involved in where you're doing some kind of research. So each profile will have its own history, cookies, and bookmarks. So that helps you to keep everything separated and be more productive. So then we have the lock screen customization. So you can put widgets on your lock screen, and these are interactive, and you can do tasks without having to open the app just from the widget. And you can even put your photos there as a widget. So let's show you how that works. So we're going to go to our iPad. There we go. So you can see I've got some widgets already on the screen here. So I've got a clock, I've got notes, I've got my calendar, I've got a map, and I've got the weather. So if I just tap on the weather, it's going to show me the weather app. We can see down here in the lower right that there's some rain coming in from California. And if we look at our 10-day forecast, the rain that was predicted for earlier in the week doesn't look like it's going to show up until Friday. 60% chance of rain on Friday. So you can get right to your weather from the widget. On the map, if I want to find a place for a cup of coffee, I can just hit that, and it's going to search for coffee shops around the area that I'm in. So that's how the interactive widgets work. And if you touch and hold a widget, try that again, touch and hold. Then you can edit, you can remove the stack, which means you can have several widgets here in the same stack. So if I just hit remove and remove, then that widget is gone. And if I want to add a widget, then I would just hold and I would go to edit home screen, and then I can turn off edit home screen. Actually, to add a widget, you swipe from left to right and you go to edit, and then you can go down here to customize and you can add a widget. So that's how you add the widget. And you hit done to get out of customize. You hit your home button to get back to your screen. So that's how you do widgets. So we are still recommending that you do not install iPadOS 17 or iPhone OS 17 because there's been problems. Some people have been having problems with the battery. It shows 100% charge when it's only 6%. And sometimes the battery widget shows charging when it's not. That's still happening. And it won't download the software you need to interface with your Mac. Other people are having problems with Wi-Fi. So obviously, if your iPad is only Wi-Fi and you can't get to Wi-Fi, then your iPad is not very useful. So don't be on the bleeding edge of technology. We think, based on the past, that at the end of January, the iPad OS 17.3 will be released to the public. So just hang on until then, and then we think it'll be the time to go to the latest version. So let's go over some of the things we've talked about, plus some other things we haven't. So starting in the top left-hand corner, iPadOS 17 allows for flexible layouts. There's something called Stage Manager that lets you stack your apps over here on the left, and also different ways that you can arrange your screen. And the offline maps. Thanks for the like. So let's talk about offline maps. We haven't done that yet. So let's go back to the iPad. And we're going to tap on our Maps app. So here's our Maps app. We're going to get rid of our coffee shops. So the way you do offline maps, let's just search for an area that maybe I don't have any cell coverage. And that would be Organ Pipe Cactus National Monument. No cell coverage in there. So the way you do offline maps is you hold down and you get a map pin, and you hold the map pin, and then you click over here on offline, and then there's the offline map. So I downloaded the map. If I want to download a new map, I can just go there. I can say, let's download this one, and you can see here at the bottom of the screen it says download. I tap on that, and there's my map. You can see the circle here where it downloaded, and now I can bring up that map. I can resize it. I can't make it bigger, but I can make it smaller. And I could zoom in. So here it is. And you can also pinch to zoom. So if I wanted to zoom out, zoom in to show more detail, of course there's not a lot of detail right here. Because it's all national monument. So that's basically the way offline maps work. Okay. So let's go back here. We talked about PDF autofill, interactive widgets. Here's another interesting feature, and that's you can now attach an external camera to your iPad. That could be a webcam, could be a DSLR or mirrorless camera. So you could have that camera on a tripod at eye level, so you look your best on those Zoom meetings, and then have your iPad in a position where you can manipulate it. You can also now leave a FaceTime message, either an audio message or even a video message. Much like you leave a voicemail, you can leave it on FaceTime now. There are new tools in Freeform. That's the new app from Apple. We did a program on that. If you're interested, you can go to our YouTube channel and search for Freeform. Then we have the redesigned lock screen. So let's look and see how that works. So we're going to go back to our iPad. So we have to turn it off here and then turn it back on. And then what you do is you hold down on the lock screen, and then it's going to ask for Touch ID or passcode. I find that it's easier to use the passcode. Okay, so now we're in the customize. You can see down here at the bottom we have customize. We have 3 dots indicating there's 3 screens here. So there's the default screen. Here's one that I added. And if we scroll left to right, or scroll from the right to the left, we have a add new screen. So we hit the plus in the middle here, so we can add a new screen. So you can use your photos. You can use some of these screens here. Then you can scroll down and get different screens. So let's click on this one. So this is one of the astronomy screens. And this is Mars. We have Jupiter, Saturn, and we have the moon, and we have the Earth. And it actually, I don't know if you saw the little green circle, but it actually centers you on your location on the Earth. So you can see here we have some widgets here on the left. We have the temperature. We have the sunset at 5:22. We have the percentage of rain, which is 0. We have the charge on our Apple Pencil. And we have our next appointment. We have stocks. We have a clock face. And we have a calendar. So you can do all those if you hold down on a widget. So we can add this to our selection, and then we can tell it to be just the home screen, or we can make it both the home screen and the wallpaper. Okay, so now if we hit our home button, now you can see we have it as our wallpaper. So that's how you can customize your lock screen. Okay, so you can also have inline PDFs. So you can have more than one PDF on a page at a time. We talked about the health app. Live activities allows you to get updates on something that's happening, like a ride share or a food delivery that's coming your way. You can see the progress in live activities. AirDrop will continue even if you're out of range of the device that you're airdropping something to, so you don't have to be close to the device when you're using AirDrop to move information from your device to another. We talked about predictive text, and you can also do live stickers in messages. So I'm sure you're all going to run out and do that. So that brings us to our questions. So if you haven't already, put your questions or comments in the comments section there on YouTube, and share the GoFor Gazette with other people that you know that may use Apple devices. And please, if you haven't already, give us that thumbs up, the like, and if for any reason you haven't already subscribed, you can do that right down below and hit that button for notification when we go live. So, announcements. The next GoFor Gazette will be January the 8th. The next GoFor Lunch will be January the 9th. But I will be available for tech support during the next 2 weeks. So if you do have a situation that I can assist with, please don't hesitate to call. And wishing you and yours a safe and joyful holiday. May it be filled with love, peace, and joy. So, Apple software updates. So these are mostly security updates. So if you're running any of these operating systems, make sure you update to the latest version to get those security updates. We're still advising you not to update to Sonoma 14. Wait till the 14.3. It's in 14.2 something right now. So wait on Sonoma until 14.3 comes out. Speaking of software updates, you can learn about other software updates and much more tonight at the Tucson Macintosh Users Group meeting. We're starting off at 6 p.m. with the Ask Me Anything, where you can do just that. And then at 7, we're going to have our general meeting featuring Dr. Marty Jinkus, who's going to talk about Apple of My AI. So if you've been curious about what Apple is doing in the field of artificial intelligence, this is your chance to learn. So you're always going to learn something by coming to our TMUG meetings. The Zoom link is in the GoFor Gazette, so you can just go there and click on that link and join us, and we'd be glad to greet you there, and I'm sure you're going to learn something. So let's see what we have in our comments here. So Leslie Ann says her Touch ID never works. Yeah, I have had other people tell me that, and I had to redo mine on my iPad. That's when I discovered the fact that it didn't work when it was plugged in to be charged. And yep, no more hey. If you don't want to say hey, S-Lady, you don't have to. It'll be interesting to see how many other words she thinks are her name. So Susan says if reminders in iPadOS is the same as they are on the Macs, the grocery doesn't let you group by different stores. No, it's only within the same store. It doesn't automatically group by stores. So, and Susan says Melissa showed me a complicated way of grouping reminders via stores involving adding tags. Okay, so I guess there is a workaround for that. And Leslie Ann says anybody working on Apple Watch that will take and record blood pressure. So the rumors are that Apple is working on this. They have been working on it for a long time, and and they've also been working on blood sugar. So we don't know when they're going to have it available. They have to get FDA approval, and there's a lot of issues there. So they're definitely working on it, but they don't have it yet, and the latest rumors are not indicating that it'll be out next year. Speaking of Apple Watch, there is a possibility that Apple will have to stop selling the Series 9, the latest Apple Watch, and the Ultra 2 Apple Watch as of December 25th. I get all choked up just thinking about it. So if you, this is because of a patent violation suit on the reading of your oxygen. And so if that comes to pass, Apple is scrambling right now to develop a workaround so that they're not violating this patent. And however, if you or anybody else you know is thinking about getting an Apple Watch, you should get it in the next few days, because after December 25th, they may not be available. They could be some still left in inventory for third-party retailers, but Apple will be prohibited from selling them after December 25th. So that is disturbing news. So hopefully they will figure out a workaround and get that taken care of. So thank you all for attending. And if you have any questions you think of after we're done, you can reach me by telephone or by email, and that contact information is coming up right now. So have a great holiday. We'll see you in 2024.